Hey guys, welcome to our review of The Long Walk. Now, as you can tell, Jay is joining us. Joe is now out of vacation when Alex was on vacation last week.
I got to see the good movie.
Thank you to Jay again for joining us. Yeah, what was the movie we saw? I forgot.
We saw The Conjuring.
Oh, The Conjuring, which, by the way, made a ton of money at the box office,
sure.
So we were wrong. No, we're not wrong, but, those kinds of movies always makes money regardless. Meanwhile, this movie's probably going to make nothing, even though it is a better story, because I couldn't find it at the theater we normally go to.
Right.
Had to go to a different theater, not as many showings, and it's a freaking shame, because I'll tell you, I got emotional watching this. Number one, I didn't know nothing about it, okay? And that's what I think you need to do going into this. I didn't even know it was a Stephen King story, apparently. Yeah. And when I was sitting in the theater and they were playing the thing, I was like, oh, shit, this is Stephen King? I was like, okay. But I'm glad I went in without any of these kind of preconceived notions. I was being told a story with these set characters that I thought, because of the performances in the film by, let me see some of these actors here. Cooper Hoffman as Raymond and David Johnson as Peter McVries. These two great actors, great performances. I felt emotion. This is a film about friendship, brothers. It's brutal, it's harrowing, it's emotional, and it's a pretty tense ride if you've never heard of it and you don't know what's going on and you don't know what happens at the end. And I would recommend it if you love reading books and just having these nice self-contained stories. Now, part of me wants to be like, well, but what's happening over there, or this universe, and what is this world, and this and that, and you have all these questions. But often, movie making and storytelling is about one specific thing that unfolds, and how do characters under duress deal with it. And this is a psychological, physical ordeal that almost feels, it's like, well, what is this all for? And so it asks a lot of questions. And I think because the performances are so good, this life or death thing that you got to keep walking at 3 miles per hour, a consistent pace. I'll tell you right now, I ain't making it nowhere. I'm going to be one of the first ones out. I mean, I don't want to ruin it, but they walk hundreds of miles, right? And I think maybe I'm done by probably mile 10. You know what? I'll give myself 15, 20, okay? Well, they go far longer than that. And when you think about that, there's a lot of things that you have to take into consideration when you're walking that long. Do you go to the bathroom? Do you go to sleep? You water, food, willpower, and all of this is addressed in the film in gruesome ways and visceral ways, and this was really, really engaging. So I recommend, if you can, and you don't know nothing about The Long Walk, to go out and see it in theaters. The ending, for me, it's like, we'll talk about that in spoilers. I think it maybe could be a little better. Maybe the ending could be a little better, but I think it's about the journey. This is definitely about the walk, right? And for that, I was wholly satisfied, and I highly recommend this film for all 5 of you that are watching and interested in whether The Long Walk is worth your time. What did you guys think?
I really liked it. I'm familiar with the story. It's bleak. You got to be in the mood for something that is bleak. And, this is a late 70s novel. It's a lot to do with...
Apparently his first.
And then
first ever novel.
Dealing with these young men kind of getting drafted in this situation, and there's no point to any of this, and they're getting picked off. But it's about the camaraderie that they build along the way and the interesting characters. So I think it was really good. I mean... this has got to be one of the best Stephen King adaptations that we've ever had. One of them. It's not Shawshank Redemption, and it's probably not Green Mile or Misery, but it's way better than Boogeyman or any of that other stupid shit that we get from Stephen King.
If this is true, Stephen King's got some great stories. You got to admit.
And he gives them away for $500. Yeah, his short stories. If you want to make a movie on them, you give him $500. He just like licenses them to people because he likes seeing his work get move forward.
Cool.
So I think it's a really good one. I think if you're interested in, it's bleak. It's not The Road where it's like you just don't want to live after watching it. It's not that bad, but it's, it's not a happy, fun time movie. But, I still think that this is the kind of movie that you got to see every now and then to remind you.
To wake you up.
Yeah. So I definitely recommend it.
What do you think, Jay?
I was on the fence about it.
Yeah.
I love the acting. The acting was good.
Oh, yeah.
It left me wanting more. I wanted more environment.
I kind of want to know more about
more backstory. I wanted to know a little bit more about, some of the main characters. It was very predictable, unfortunately, and it seemed to drag on it at points, small points. But other than that, all in all, I did enjoy it.
It's intense. It's actually brutal. They don't shy away from showing people get shot. I think the first thing, and I guess it's good to get it right out of the way to show you the threat that you're going to be dealing with. One of the younger kids that is participating in this, his face is just completely blown off, and I was like, what the hell, this is crazy. And it really makes everybody walk. I don't know, but at the same time, it makes me think my suspension of disbelief was there, right? But there were times where I was like, well, this doesn't make sense. How would that make sense, or how would this make sense? And you could pick apart anything like that. And you could definitely, I think, pick this apart. Like, why wouldn't them be better prepared?
Yeah.
Or why would everybody try to be friends with each other?
Why wouldn't they fight back?
Right. Why wouldn't you fight back? Or why wouldn't you, revolt? Well, they're already probably fucking tired by then. You got to fight back right at the beginning.
At the beginning,
Because if it's out fucking mile 100, I'm going to throw a punch.
I think that's what I was kind of expecting. Is I wanted them to give a little bit more resistance to it, and everybody was kind of
they were
good
prisoners.
with it. We're just going.
They all wanted to be there.
Yeah,
that's the thing, that's what I'm. It's interesting to me, and I kind of wanted to know more about this world where it's such a dystopian future, but yet it's in the past. It feels like it's like the 1950s, 60s kind of thing, maybe 70s, since the book came out in the 70s, early 70s, maybe late 60s. Clearly, the United States is in disarray. The states are together, and they do these weird things. It's almost like a Hunger Games, where this long walk is supposed to inspire people to, work harder. And that, I'm like, bullshit. Like,
really? That's
right.
going to inspire me?
Not going to inspire me. It's not inspiring me either. They also throw in plenty of references. Oh, we're being filmed. This is going to be on camera, and the whole world is going to see. So I thought that was going to factor in more. I thought that maybe we'll see scenes of, people watching TVs and doing that, or there being some kind of inspiring kind of bit. But it is not don't go in it thinking this is Avengers or whatever, where it's like this massive story. This is a very tight and personal character drama between the people who are actually on the long walk. And like Alex is saying, it's bleak in the sense that it doesn't have a necessarily rosy outlook and ending and things like that. But it's it asks questions like how far are you willing to go, and what brings men together, And now I can see, if you go to war together, the brotherhood and the going through some shit together, bonds form, and you almost have like a second family kind of thing, and that came through on the screen so well. I believed everybody forming this friendship, even though everything is telling them and me that would never happen because these are your rivals, and this would make more sense if people could win together. But there's only one. The whole premise of the thing is there's only supposed to be one winner, right?
Right.
There's no finish line. The finish line is when everybody is done except for one person. I would like if there was a finish line or something else, but that's not what this story is, and I'm not knocking it for that. I'm just saying within this, I think it was an expertly told story, and it's just kind of a fact of life within this universe, and how do you react in it. I thought it was fascinating, so that's why I like it, and that's why I think it'll challenge people. I guarantee you there will people come in that'll hate it. It's like, well, that was pointless. Or why does the ending like this? This sucks. But I think if you enjoy character drama and, kind of putting yourself in that situation, I was just intrigued all the way through. So I really liked it. Mark Hamill, it's shit. It could have been anybody else, honestly. The character Major, who is leading this thing and kind of in charge of this, it did an all right job.
Yeah.
But honestly, it could have been anybody.
He wasn't as menacing as I think he should have been.
He should have been. He should have been more menacing. Yeah. But everybody else did great job. And, there's every single type of friend every single type of dude out there.
Yeah.
You got your fucking bullies, you got your fucking assholes, you got your nerds, you got your people in shape, you got your just average Joes, you get, orphans and things like that. But, if if this was a real world, you would think that everybody would train a lot better, because some people were done like me. Like that's like me signing up for a marathon.
You don't have any notice. Everyone has to sign up for the thing, and then they're like, "Hey, you got to be there in 3 days. Go." And it's such a long shot. It's like planning to win the lottery, because it is literally winning this lottery.
Oh, it is. That's how the film starts, by the way.
Yeah.
It's a letter that says you won the lottery.
Yeah.
You've been randomly selected to represent your state. So there's 50 runners.
In the beginning, the first thing I was thinking too was like, I was looking at everybody's shoes. I was like, "There's no way you're going.
Thank you.
That far.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Well,
I was like,
them
you're in Chucks, man.
motherfuckers would never bring those types of shoes.
I get it.
So those are little suspension of disbelief.
It's dystopia. Like, people are starving to death all across the United States. You don't have access to Nikes and Adidas and all those things. So it's like,
but you can order anything you want. You can have riches and things. So, there's some things of suspension of disbelief that you just have to accept. And I accept those. And it never broke those for me. Yeah. And that's why I think it's a strong story where it's like I accept within that world those things. But yeah, if it was really happening, people would probably prepare more.
A little bit more.
Your whole lives would be, about, running and staying in shape. And then people would, in their backpacks, bring backup shoes. I did see one guy with a second pair of shoes. So at least
he had his off, though.
Yeah. At least they did a little bit of that. Some people would bring stuff from their mother, like a cookie or something. But here's the thing. That's going to make you more thirsty. You're fucking yourself up. But it's almost like it's a regular thing. It's treated like regular life. And you're just going to class. And this is fucking class. But it's a harrowing thing. And it was a good thriller type movie that I think that you would enjoy. Yeah. Well, anything else?
It's a little. If you're familiar with the book, Joe, you mentioned it's like, if you don't know anything about it. I think if you do know anything about it, like, you're gonna have a good time, because they do a really good job with some of these characters.
Read the book before you saw it.
Yeah, and they changed.
And he told me they changed the ending.
Oh yeah, it's slightly different, and so I was surprised all the way through. So it's not like I knew it was coming and it ruined my enjoyment. It's like no, they changed some stuff up and some characters that had no. I remember very little. I had to go through.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah, and so it's like they changed enough around where it's like, this is fresh and this is exciting, and I think they did a really good job, because reading Stephen King can be tough, because he includes some stuff that's just not good. And so every now and then they take something of his and they turn it, but like the bones are good, and that's how we get Shawshank Redemption. That's how we got the Green Mile and stuff. So it's like there's some really good stuff there, and I think they did a really, really good job taking his base work. And other than don't know if I like what happens at the very, very, very end.
Yeah, it was
I don't know. From what you told me was the original ending, I actually think I like the movie ending better.
Yeah, I think both endings, the way it read out in the book,
Yeah.
and that they're both kind of underwhelming. I was like, oh, really? You know,
That I
come
can see
on.
that take as well. Yeah. And that is a part of the, I want this to be bigger or more satisfying versus, hey, I'm just trying to tell a story of these particular people, right, in a matter-of-fact way. So, yeah, and like I said, this throws back to a time of filmmaking where, filmmakers just trying to tell a story. They're not trying to make all the money. And I long for those days because this is not making money. This isn't a comic book movie. It's fucking sad. And, trash like, horror movies that are fucking dime a dozen and written with such corporate interests make all the money. This has a budget, 20 million, box office, 1 million right now. Probably.
Well, it just came out, right?
It just came out.
It'll
so
get
that's
picked
just
up by
fine with it.
someone. I mean, because if Netflix paid $300 million for Red, like someone's going to give them $20 million to stream it somewhere.
Yeah. And it does throw back to the movies of the younger kids and friendship and we're like
It's exactly like the Goonies. It's exactly like the Goonies.
Lord of the Flies, Goonie and Lord of the Flies, and all these kinds of things. That's interesting
Sandlot,
with a mix of the Hunger Games. But I think people are kind of expecting more Hunger Games stuff, right? Where that goes and that kind of resolution and that kind of thing. But that thing took 6 books and shit, and that was a different type of story. This is more kind of dystopian, and this is just how it is kind of thing. So, that's it. Let's go to final verdicts. What would you rate the movie?
I really like this one. I wish they had actually gone a little harder in some of the scenes. There's some brutal scenes, but I think that we actually could have put our foot
You
on the
wanted
gas.
harder?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I think
Like
that-
what? In the kills? Because the kills were pretty hard.
That we cut away from a lot of them, and I think we cut away from some of the setup from one of them. Like there's one in the trailer that you see, and you see the setup of it. We'll talk about it in spoilers. And then they kind of just cut away from it, and if you'd blinked, you missed the fact that like something really important happened, and someone goes on with an injury for a long time.
Oh, yeah, and then it's just shown.
And then it's just shown. And so
it's
it's
like, when do you do that?
And
When
so
do
it's
you do
like
that?
there are opportunities. I think that there's some slowness for sure, and it's like so when we take away some of the slowness and we show some of the things that are really ramping up some attention, I would prefer that. I think the ending, is probably on. I don't know how I feel about the ending, but it's one of those things. But not in that kind of way.
I think the ending was made for people like me or Jay. But they didn't want to disrespect a book or change the fucking scope or imply that this and that. So it's almost like a half measure. Like, I think that movie makers at this point know what audiences want and kind of want to give it, but it's like, no, that is not the point of this particular novel. But it kind of went halfway. That is my opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
we can talk about it.
It's almost like a character kind of betraying who they set themselves up to be for days, and like there's some weirdness to it that it's like I don't even know if it makes sense like in universe for me. And so I think that's one of the problems I've got with it is that it did go a little slow. They did cut back on some things, and I think the ending isn't. If you're going to change some things, I want the change to be like clearly for the better, and I don't know if that's the case. So I'm gonna go 8 out of 10. I think it's a very strong Stephen King adaptation. If you like stuff like this, check out some of his other stuff. Like watch Misery. Misery scared the shit out of you. Like
The movie?
Misery's great.
yeah.
man, it's been so long
all-time
since I've
classic.
seen Misery. I think I might watch it tonight.
Yeah,
then.
you should like Misery is so good, and then of course Shawshank. But like this is pretty good.
You like Misery too?
I love Misery.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great thriller.
It's a real. It's scary as shit. It's way scary.
Is
scary?
The old
Is it
lady?
scary?
Is that's the one where the lady captures the dude and tortures him?
Yeah.
That scares you, man. Alex got some problems.
That is way scarier than anything they've done than the Conjuring Last Rites.
Well,
Alright.
yeah. I take that.
Yeah.
All right. So, and I'm like I said, I'm on the fence about this movie. I want to like it. I liked the meat of it. I didn't like.
But the ending hurt.
The ending hurt, and then it's like you have this beautiful Picasso, but it's done on cardboard. You know.
It's still been worth millions.
it's like the. I guess there just wasn't enough meat on the bone.
I can see it.
I'm right there at a 5.
Average.
Yeah, average.
Hey,
Average.
Jay's using our actual scoring as the average film. And I know because 5 always triggers people sometimes, but it's like, no, that's how I set up my score a long time ago. So an average film.
Yeah, and I think some of the like you were saying, some of the kills could have been a little bit more creative. It just seemed like after the first one or two, just that guy got killed. You know, you just hear a fire in the background. That's it. No one cared about him, so we just keep on walking. Well, which you kind of had to do, but. I mean, some of
that's kind of what I was thinking. It's like
they didn't get any more creative about people just trickling off or anything. It's just kind of after the first couple, it was just okay. It was normal.
Yeah, and in this world, that shit has been normalized, and these characters are I guess just going through it and doing the best that they can with what they've been given. And part of it is at least this is what I was thinking with some of the cutaways, because the boys are right, it does cut away. Initially it doesn't. So you get that first one where it's just like, Joe! And I'm like, holy shit. And so I expected that for every single one, but I think I shouldn't have expected it for every single one because it was more about what's going on up here. And for them to be able to press through, they have to just not watch it. Because if they watch it, they slow down, and it gets into their head and it fucks them up. And that's not what this is about. It's not about, creative kills. It's just about, straight up, hey, third warning, first warning, second warning, third warning, pap. Unceremoniously, just like your life is worth nothing. And what is this for? Is executing you like that really going to make people work harder if we have a really bad economy? No, that doesn't make any sense to me. So it's got a lot of these really cool ideas in it, but I do think it executes enough of them well enough that I do end up liking the journey. So I am also, but I agree with you that I think that the ending, because I was like ready. I was ready for something big. And it was one of those, and it's like, okay, I see how that fits, but I kind of want a little more, right? So I'm going to go 8 out of 10 as well. I was thinking 9 because I was enjoying it that much. But I think I'm going to go 8 out of 10. And then we can talk about the specific ending. And I pulled up the 10 biggest changes from the book to the thing. We'll see if you think it might make things better or if you think it makes things worse. So come join us there. But I can totally see if you like these tight stories, if you like character-driven drama, if you like just a matter-of-fact stuff, or it's a slice of life, and it's a little slow burn, and it may not have the most epic, explosive ending. Then, I think you'll be prepped. Okay, so join us in the spoiler section. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Hey guys, welcome to the spoiler section. So let's just talk about it right away. First, we'll set up the 2 main characters. So then the main character comes, and his mom is taking him. His mom is crying, and she don't want to let him go. That's when you know, wait a minute, this ain't just no normal walk.
Yeah, I did like how they just went straight into it.
There
wasn't this long.
Thank you.
They went straight into it.
Oh, you get the lottery, and then they see the preparing. No, this was just a matter of fact, a matter of life.
It's just like, hey, you won this once in a lifetime. It's like, that's why I'm totally fine with them not preparing at all, because you're one person in the entire state that wins this thing. You wouldn't prepare.
So the whole state is not
preparing for this.
I'm like, well, how fucked up is the dystopian stuff? If there's only 100 people, if there's only, let's say 60,000 people in a state, then I think they would prep.
Well, we got tens of millions of people in each state. It's supposed to be after the big war, right? So it's supposed to be around maybe after World War II, after Korea. It doesn't make sense for it to be after Vietnam, even though I think this is supposed to be a Vietnam allegory.
This is probably like 60s, the big Red Scare, nuclear Holocaust type thing.
The war didn't go well. The United States is fucked. There's no GDP. Everything is real bad, and so it's like that's why there's.
But
no
it seems like we won, or at least the war is not going on.
Yeah. or
We're
the
recovering.
The powers that be told us that we won.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you just don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
And so they get there, and we kind of get a brief introduction of all of these characters. They make a big deal about like how much each one of them weighs, and then we start the walk. They give it over the basic rules: don't go to 3 miles an hour.
Which in the book is 4 miles an hour, but they changed it to be a little more realistic because 4 miles an hour is like a jog.
Yeah, if you are doing a whole lot of stuff up in Maine,
Drugs?
Yeah, the author, then 4 miles an hour is a great walking speed because you are ready to go. But if normal people are walking a little slower.
Yeah. Okay, so they get there, and the major shows up, and everybody's, oh, my God, it's the major, the major. So you think maybe the major was this figure that either won the war or rallied the states to an acceptable level that's holding together, whatever. He's just a revered figure or a tyrannical figure where they're scared of him, but, have this persona. And the major is cold towards everybody, very business oriented. The event, the mission, and your bravery, and he's got all this propaganda based upon the walk. And he says that this walk, there's one walk person from 50 states, and apparently it's televised, and every year it happens, productivity goes up. It's like, this
right
is
after
bullshit.
the walk.
Number one, I don't believe it, but I'll allow it because it's this dystopian thing, right? But the winner, and there's only one winner, he gets more riches than you can ever think about. So just a ton of money. Just think about $1 million. And he gets a wish, which I don't know if that's the way it is in the book. I couldn't find that.
I think it's just like you just get stuff. It's not like stuff. You can't be like, I want the United States to become a monarchy. You can't wish something like that. They're like, no, you just get a bunch of stuff. Tell us what stuff you want. We'll give you
so as long as it's within reason. In this film, they said one of the last winners wished for an elephant, a pet elephant.
And he wrote it off.
That's stupid. And I was like, that's propaganda. And by the end, they're going to show that there was no winners or something.
The running man.
That's what I thought, too. This is not Mockingbird. It's not the fucking Hunger Games. And so when you don't get that, you can be disappointed. And but yeah, so all these guys walk. 4 of them kind of stay together, and they become the 4 Musketeers. And that's the 2 main characters. That's our main character, Ray Garrity, and then the other guy is Peter McVrise, and then they have the 2 other guys, Olsen. And
Olsen.
Some other guy. Yeah, I liked Olsen too. Yeah. He's this little Asian kid, and he is like determined to win, and he's choosing
like a Boston accent, right?
Yeah,
heavy Boston accent, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, so let's jump right to the ends. Okay, so how many miles did they walk?
Like 500.
Yeah,
it was like 3 something.
It was 370 something. Yeah, 370 something. I think 390 something. In the book, I think it's anywhere. Sometimes it says 350. Sometimes it's 400. But they walked that long. There's no way. I was like, holy shit. And these people are sleeping while they're walking.
Yeah.
Can the human body do that?
Yes.
Apparently it can.
It's called sleepwalking.
You can walk. You can walk while you sleep. I'd be fine. Okay.
I think it's a lot of like leaning on each other type thing, and
just keep moving. I can't even see that working, but apparently that works, and that's humanly possible. And then they piss by walking backwards and just pissing in the wind, because if you stop, you die.
Yep.
And if you actually step 1 foot, you usually get 3 warnings, but that's only for pace. If you touch off the pavement, you're dead instantly.
Yeah, off the path. Yeah.
Or if you approach any of the armed vehicles, they gut shot you.
Right,
and then they leave you to die, like slowly die out. Which is why there can be no rebellion, because it's like there's always 3 vehicles, one with a mounted machine gun constantly aimed at them. We see at one point in the movie, a guy runs off and he gets cut in half by this mounted machine gun. It's like crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then so what was I saying? And then you shit, and then people having to take a shit while walking is gross, and so everybody would be
kinda
fucking
funny.
nasty smelling.
Have you
by
ever
the end.
watched a marathon? Like a lot of marathon runners shit themselves
yeah.
while running a marathon.
yeah.
It's gross.
Towards
Oh,
the end.
I never-
Yeah, and
I
the
didn't know
poop
this.
just falls out. It's fucking gross.
Out their leg and it's just flicking
Yeah.
around because they're still trying to run.
I didn't know this side of marathon running.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I would stay far away from the marathon.
Some
running.
of them-
Get away
some
from the
of them-
finish line. It's real stinky.
Some of them that know they wear like the pins and stuff.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they prepare.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, eventually it does come down to essentially about 6 guys from 50. There's like this kind of rougher, tougher Indian guy, like American Indian, that just seems like one of those loners, but you could tell he's got a good heart, but yet he fucking hates the military and the government and stuff. And this guy eventually just, I was like, I want somebody to attack it, and he's the guy that does it.
I was happy that he did
I was
that.
happy.
I was like,
So he takes
finally.
one of the rifles towards the end when he's just like he can't handle it, and when he goes crazy, and he takes one of
He
the
knows
rifles
he's gonna
and-
die. This is like his
His
wants
last
to go
hurrah.
out.
his swan song, man. He
Yeah.
grabs it. And he's successful. He kills a soldier.
Kills one soldier, and then they light him up, and then he does, a battle cry or a little hymn, Indian, war chant as he dies. And then there's another guy who they thought was going to win the whole thing. This is very in shape. Everybody's like, whoa, look at that guy. He's got muscles, and he's in shape and stuff. And I'm like, it's not always the guy that has big muscles that is going to win the fucking marathon. In fact, it might actually slow you down. It's probably the skinnier, really light aerobics type thing that would work better. But they think this guy's going to win. And oddly, it's the only person that Major says, good luck, son. And he doesn't say that to anybody else. Well, it turns out that is the Major's one of his bastard sons.
Yeah.
And he's got tons of bastard sons, apparently. And he wanted to win the thing to prove, so that the Major would accept him as his son.
Yeah,
and
his wish would be
family.
to go to the Major's house and start, live with them and be his son.
It's crazy, but he's not. He can't make it either, and he gets sick throughout. He probably would have won if he didn't get sick because he comes down with pneumonia or something.
pneumonia.
And he's just like,
He wants to die with his head held high. He doesn't be crawling on the ground, and so he kind of goes out on his own terms.
Yeah, and he's like, do it. And they shoot him in the head. The Four Musketeers, the little Asian kid, Olsen, he basically, he's eating the gum, and he foreshadows his death where it's like,
Yeah, because the gum's not tasty anymore. So he says
he was
that.
like, I'm going to keep chewing this. It's me and this gum, and if this gum ever comes out of my mouth or goes out, then I'm done.
If it had been fruit stripe gum, he wouldn't have made up the starting line.
Yeah. And you can tell he was probably the weaker of the runners there of the Four Musketeers. So you knew it was coming, and it just sucks to see. He almost goes catatonic.
Yeah.
Because he's just walking, and his brain isn't there anymore. And how does he go out?
He falls behind, and then he approaches one of the cars, and so they gut shot him.
Oh, that's
and
right.
So
because he tries to go after it the last minute.
well, he's like trying to hold on to the car to like steady himself, and then they gut shot him.
To me, it looked like he was going after a soldier, almost like the Indian guy. I might have it wrong.
Yeah,
because later on, one of the characters, at least I appreciated the way he went out. He didn't go out like a bitch.
Right.
And so he gets shot in the stomach, and then they set up this whole thing where he calls out for one of his friends, and his friend actually goes back to hold him as he's dying. And
That's one of the Four Musketeers, and he goes to hold him and die. But our two main characters go to try to stop the third Musketeer from staying with Olsen, and ultimately everybody gets these warnings, but they are able to leave him behind, and he's just screaming, and then he dies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's crazy. And then there's a fucking asshole kid that was taunting another dude, and he's like the bully the whole time. And he got one guy killed, says it's not his fault. And I thought he was going to turn into like an actual, what do you call it, Squid Game bully, where they're purposefully doing
he's supposed
shit.
to be kind of a nut job.
Yeah.
If I remember right, like he's nuts. He's not there to be a good person. Yeah. And so,
So I thought this was fascinating. But then it turned out to be... He kind of felt bad at the end, and he's like, I honestly can't stop thinking about it. Can I be y'all's friend? And he just lost his mind, too.
He went crazy.
You walk. You don't sleep for 4 straight days. I mean, I get loopy, and if I stay up past 3 in the morning now.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've pulled editing sessions where I was like, I used to be able to fucking stay up 3 days.
Yeah,
and
we
now
play
I
video
can't
games,
do it.
LAN parties 3 days in a row.
Yeah.
StarCraft, no
Yeah.
problem. Now, if I'm not in bed by 10:30, it's not good.
You get cranky. All right, and then so those are some of the major ones. Like I said, some of the early ones was one guy, it was a kid, and he clearly 16, not 18,
Yeah.
but managed to get in the competition.
He lied.
That's when you see, the soldier just shoots him right in the face. And then another kid wanted to write a book.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, this is going to be the best book ever because I'm on the inside. I'm like, you dumb fuck.
He breaks his ankle.
Yeah.
Kind of, like you see it for a second, and if you blinked, you missed it because like you see him.
Oh, I don't see it at all.
You see him.
I missed it.
You see him break his ankle, but
What?
there's no
But
attention
when?
paid to it. He's seriously, he's walking with it, and his leg breaks, and it's just there for a single second. And I thought.
They should show that more.
Even in the trailers, they show him going no, and like they're building up this tension, like this dread, because the audience and all the characters know he's about to die, and they know there's nothing they can do. And I think living in those moments, it's hard, but like I think that's what the point of this movie is to have these really tense things and see like the dread come over all of the other characters. But
Yeah, because I just noticed when he was towards the end, he he was like limping on his ankle, was all twisted up, and
he
then
had lost
he
his
stopped.
shoe,
Yeah,
and his foot was already down. I was like, when did this happen?
Yeah, when did that happen? I was like, what the hell?
They should have done that more. That guy, obviously, since he can't do it anymore, he fucking dies. Towards the beginning, there was one guy just got a Charlie horse. It was probably
that was the first kid.
Yeah,
that
that's
was like
first kid, right.
Mile. Oh yeah, that was
That's
the
the
young
Jojo
kid.
Rabbit kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then another guy, his legs are jacked up, and he just falls, and one of the tanks just rolls right over his legs. So that dude
that's
is
the other. Where'd that
done.
tank come from?
Yeah.
All this time they had these armored cars and stuff around.
That's
it,
right.
And
the
then
tank
all of a
comes
sudden,
out
the
of
tank just come
nowhere.
out of nowhere.
And then it disappears after that scene. It's just the truck. So them motherfuckers.
It's expensive to have a tank go 300, 400 miles.
Right.
So the
Right.
tank just joined them
it's-
for one of the journeys
Yeah.
and then went off. It's too expensive, too much fuel. But it ran over his legs, and he's screaming the whole time, and people were just like, finish it now. But no, they go through all the warnings. Warning 1,
Yeah.
warning 2,
Yeah.
warning 3. Just put him out of his misery.
Is that
right
the
away.
one where they don't shoot him in the head? They shoot him in the stomach, or they shoot him in the head for that
No,
one?
I don't think the camera actually
Yeah.
shot.
They just
where
heard it.
Just heard the
So
shot.
him dying breaks another one of the kids, and he just starts stripping off his clothes, and then
Right.
just runs forward,
yeah.
then runs into the grass, and that's when we find out that there's a mounted machine gun.
Yeah.
And that was on the tank, too.
Oh, that was on the
Yeah,
tank.
and it's just like, oh no.
I was like, holy shit. So that was crazy. And but to tighten it up, basically, that the ones that are probably going to win or last the longest
main
are our
characters,
two
yeah.
main characters. It's
Ray.
Ray is the black guy or the white guy?
White guy.
And then
McVreeze.
McVreeze is the other dude. And then they grow this friendship. And, they tell each other their whole life stories. So Ray is the guy that his mom brought him there,
Right.
and his dad was telling him about stuff. And this I kind of like because you got to see a little bit more about this world,
Right.
Where apparently in the United States you cannot have all this old stuff, and it's like, well, why? It's almost like what's the movie with Christian Bale?
Equilibrium?
Yes,
It's kinda like that.
a little bit of equilibrium.
It's that. It's V for Vendetta. It's like a fascist takeover
yeah.
and a complete control of information. So he's talking about my dad they wouldn't let me read Nietzsche, any philosophies, any of these old things, anything. And so it's like, well, it's not too far fetched. We got a lot of book burners and banned book. I mean, we live in Texas. A lot of books are banned here.
Unfortunately.
And so it's like we're getting So
some people want to do this kinds of stuff. So eventually his father is dragged out of his home just one day, and actually the major gives him a chance to swear his loyalty to the states and the squads and all this other stuff, and he just won't do it. He just doesn't do it. He says, son, always be yourself or something, and he gets shot. And so that's why Raymond, his secret wish, and he doesn't want to tell anybody, eventually tells his friend that I'm going to wish for a carbine, and I'm going to grab that gun. As soon as they give it to me, I'm going to kill the major. And his friend's like, don't fucking do. Are you crazy? Like,
you're leaving your
be
mom
all-
behind.
yeah, all
and
for a
it's just
waste.
Like,
Yeah.
you could do all this good. Instead,
Right.
you're doing one act of vengeance, and it doesn't make sense.
and I love this speech.
Yeah, and so
this was well acted.
McVreeze is so altruistic. He had such a rough life, and then he's going through all these things and talking about, look, we got to look toward the light.
Right.
And
Talk about Vreeze.
and so he was an orphan. Both his parents died super suddenly. He got adopted by his uncle who
From
beat
the
the
war.
sh-
They
I think he
from
died in the war.
Yeah, they
They
beat
died
the
in the war.
shit out of him,
Yeah.
and then he died in a puddle of his own puke,
Right.
and then he just lived in ditches and fields and went couch surfing and all this other stuff, and then he was picking fights, and he got left for dead after he picked a fight with a dude who sliced him up real good with a hunting
That's
knife.
why he has this scar, and he wouldn't tell people about the scar, but he finally does in order to distract. Because there's one moment where Raymond is about to lose because he sees his mom and he just loses it and goes after his mom and he's, I'm sorry, Mom, I should have never done this and this. But he has to save his life right there. So he could have won, right? But McVreeze saves his life there.
Yeah, so they all make a promise. There's four of them at the time where they're like, hey, no matter what, we're getting to the point where we're all like about to die. We can't be helping each other anymore. If people are falling behind, we have to let them fall behind. And so they all make this promise to each other.
That's when the Indian dude went crazy.
Yeah.
Because he was like, are you going to promise? And
Yeah.
he's like, fuck it.
And
Then there were four.
Yeah.
Okay, so towards the end, they go to town, and they're walking into town, and here's where the people, and I guess they know, I guess year after year, they know kind of where to camp out, because I'm like, why wouldn't y'all camp out? Well,
it's live on television.
People usually, live on television,
Yeah.
they know that they're down to this many people. So they all camp out there, and so they're there. And I think it's basically, this is the big change from the book.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be Ray who wins in the book.
Yeah. So at one point, they're both talking. It's just the last two of them. And McVreeze is set up that he's like, look, it's getting to the point now where I'd rather just sit down. And if it's going to be my time, I'm just going to sit down and then, live out my life end my life the way that I want to. And then he does. And that's what happens in the original. So this one, Ray runs back and grabs him and is just like, no, you're my brother. Absolutely not. And
Runs
pushes
back to grab him, and he's like, no, we're going to walk a little bit
Let's,
longer, brother.
let's walk together
But then
for a
he
little bit
tricks
more.
him, and Ray
Yeah.
lets go, and Ray is the one that lets go.
Yeah, and he says it's like, it's because you see the light. You've always seen the light. I can't see it. Like he's got like the better
see it.
outlook,
Right.
which is why the next thing doesn't make any fucking sense to me.
Yeah.
Because McVreeze gets Ray's wish, and he's like, I want a rifle.
That
and
makes total sense to me, and that's what I like about this ending versus the book. Because the book, a little bit more on the book. The book has a dark figure in it.
Stephen King did a lot of dark
So it
figure
almost
stuff.
does like a horror angle where Ray is motivated to keep going and wins it because he's scared of this dark figure. And he loses it, and he keeps walking even after he wins.
Yeah.
He doesn't get the cash. He doesn't talk about a wish. None of that. He just keeps walking, and that's how it ends. Yeah. But here, since it's more about brotherhood and friendship and honoring each other's last wish, when he trades his life for his life, he wants to do Ray's wish. So he grabs the car, or he asks for the carbine, and he says, he's like, you'll get one, son. And he says, no, I want that carbine so I could give it to my child. Just lies to him. And he's like, all right, give it to him. So he grabs the carbine, and then he immediately points it at Mark Hamill's Major's character, and he's like, son, don't throw all this away. You're going to have so much riches. You're throwing it away. And he's like, this is for Ray. And he shoots him.
Yeah.
And then that's when he turns around, and it appears as if everybody's gone.
Yeah.
So
And he
there's
just
no
starts
military, there's no crowd, and he just walks off into the distance. So you can interpret that in any way you want. You can interpret it where he has lost his mind and he's going to keep walking, just like Ray lost his mind and kept walking in the book, another casualty of the long walk. Or you could take it how Ray was saying, because McBride was like, well, if you do that, if you shoot the major, all the military is just going to shoot you. And he's like, you don't know that.
Yeah.
I am the winner, and the winner has a lot of power and respect.
Yeah,
and on TV, they're not going to kill him. And so maybe the film could imply that when he shoots the major, none of the other military guys, and you actually see for a moment, none of the other military just immediately light him up.
Which I thought was going to happen.
So he might have survived and gone on and actually got that, revenge for Ray and got his wish.
But that's exactly the opposite of what Ray wanted, which is why Ray sacrificed himself for him.
Well, okay, so it does undo this amazing speech. Like, whatever.
Two amazing speeches.
Two amazing
Because he's talking about, he's like, look.
McBride actually convinces me. You're like, you're right.
Yeah, it's like
it shouldn't be about vengeance. It should be more than vengeance.
It should be about love and doing all these things and like taking care of all the great things that we can do. And
all
like,
the kids you can help.
There's only so many things that we can do because you cut the head off the Hydra, another one, two just grow back type thing. And then Ray is sacrificing himself, he's like, you can see the light, you can do all the good, you can, and then he goes to die,
his wish.
And then he's just like, oh, I'm gonna undo all the cool things that I said and your sacrifice, and I'm gonna kill this dude.
But I'm hoping that maybe that meant that Ray was right, and they're both right. He's gonna use the money to give to the kids. This is my canon ending, and it's open enough to where audiences can interpret it the way that they want.
Sure, yeah.
So I think that McBride goes and spends the money to help kids like him, these kids that are abandoned and on the street.
Oh, you think he gets the?
I do think he gets the money as well. Yeah.
Oh.
But I'm saying here's all the ways you're going to interpret it. This is the most Hollywood ending. He gets the money, he interprets it, and then kind of because it was televised, people were saying, well, maybe we don't need to do the long walk anymore, and the Major was the one that kind of put all this together and fucked the Major and all that. Yeah. That's the most rosy ending. Another ending is that, he does that, and his mind is gone, and he's done. Because in the book, the person who wins, Ray, I don't think he wins. It's implied that he just keeps walking forever and probably dies.
Yeah. Well, you don't like
as another casualty.
Like, is it the Grim Reaper or is it that dude that always shows up in Stephen King books that is trying to take over the Dark Tower and shit? Because he did that. He did a lot of drugs. Okay. And there's a lot of the character that would show up at the end.
And one interpretation could be that they're not going to give him any of the money because the Major's like, don't throw the money away. If you kill me, and throw the money away.
He's probably the new Major since he killed the Major.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. He could do something like that. Why not?
That's how the military works. That is messy as shit.
This is the stupidest. Number one, the 50 states, 50 walkers, productivity, none of that shit makes any sense anyway.
Yeah, well, dystopia makes more sense than you shoot a dude and you take over the dude's rank.
Oh, if you're the most popular, this is like gladiatorial rules,
Okay.
But what's keeping the Major in power?
The fact that he's the military leader.
Maybe he
the chain of command. See, that's how all chain of commands work.
Yeah, but we don't.
Yeah, but he's just a major, though.
Right. He's not even a fucking general. He's not. What the fuck?
He's not a colonel.
This is weird. There's a lot of questions.
The ending.
But when he wrote the story, Stephen King wasn't thinking about.
Well, he was also thinking. Apparently, he was thinking about Vietnam, where there is no I think the whole point is there is no. You get signed up for the draft. You're forced to.
Okay.
We were all forced to sign up for the draft. All these kids get drafted. They go. They needlessly die. Sometimes it's random. Sometimes it's big. Sometimes they rebel against their own people. Yep. And at the end, there is no reward. You get home and there is no anything, and maybe that's too bleak. And they're like, we just
have the psychological damage from.
Yeah, you're afraid of fireworks for the rest of your life, and it's just like, cool, I can't do any of that stuff.
And that is another way to interpret it, and that's a valid and actually very awesome interpretation. That is just like, because that is people's lives too. You work in the military a lot, and sometimes it seems like our country doesn't take care of veterans the way that they should. It's a fucking harrowing thing, and it's intense and well acted and creates a lot of questions and
so many questions. That's the big thing.
So many questions.
Yeah, both mains did such a good job. Like as far as both main characters, I think.
So. Oh yeah. I love the acting. Acting was top notch.
Yeah, I wanted to be their friends too. Yeah. I wanted everybody to survive, which was making me like, man, why do y'all do this to me? Why are y'all even being friends if you know that you're gonna die? And it makes me so mad. I thought about it.
If you're competing with somebody, why are you gonna be his friend?
So me and Jay wouldn't talk to each other on the fucking walk. But
you'd be the first to die at nighttime. You were the first to die at nighttime.
But no, I thought about that. And I think over time, you're going crazy. And let's just say we're both super in shape and we could walk 300 miles. Over time, I think that just talking to the person next to you is almost just a cathartic, And so that has probably happened over multiple long walks.
Well, me and the guy who
And
are our friends get to kind of sleep on each other in universe, get to sleep on each other,
Right.
and you guys die the first night because you fall
Right,
over.
because they do have an advantage.
As you guys are sleeping on each other, I'm going to trip you,
No,
and you're going to go down
you
for one.
You get shot for that. You can't.
You know, they never did
Yeah,
that.
they
They
never-
should have done. They implied
Well,
it. One guy was
yeah,
taunting
swinging,
one,
swinging,
and
yeah.
as he was swinging, he goes, "Warning 1,
Yeah.
warning 2." So I think you get warnings for throwing punches.
Yeah.
But if it's just a warning,
Yeah.
Jay's over here. Well, if it's just a warning, and I got 3 warnings, and I can wipe my warnings away, I'm gonna trip people on their last warning, and I'll only get 1 warning, and this warning will be wiped away.
There you just got to manage
Then
warnings.
you gotta manage warnings, which is what some kids were doing, and I wish they would have shown a little bit more of that. But nobody was like outwardly trying to sabotage each other.
Yeah, everybody was super friendly. I think.
Everybody was super friendly, and so I was trying to square that because I thought that there would be more of that, but there's not. And you could square that with, there's multiple long walks.
Yeah.
It's all televised, and so people are excited, and people buy into this fucked up
Right.
America version of this thing. And they even mention that you're supposed to sign up for it, or it's like required, but everybody signs up for it, even though they don't need to sign up for it because you're in it no matter what.
Right.
Yeah.
So it is implied that they buy into it. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. I think I caught everything. Now, real quick, I'm gonna do the 10 different things. So Garrity doesn't have a girlfriend in the movie. When his mom shows up, that's where his girlfriend shows up. So in the book, it's his girlfriend that almost gets him killed, but McVry's does the same thing and kind of brings him back to from self-destruction. There's a guy named Scram who had a wife and who everybody thought was going to win, but he's cut from it. They give the wife to this other kid, Olsen, Hank, yeah. But it's kind of just mentioned in passing that he had a wife after he died.
Yeah.
Hank Olsen's death is even more horrifying in the book. Let's see. In the book, Olsen finally initially ignores his gunshot wounds that he suffers, and he keeps trying to move forward. While his guts are hanging out of his body, he just keeps walking and keeps walking as it's all falling out. And he keeps walking and he keeps walking, and then eventually collapses. And then Stebbins, which is the bastard son, his final fate is different. In fact, you think that, the 2 that made it last in the movie made it last in the book. No. McVry's dies before Stebbins.
Oh, really?
So in the movie, Stebbins dies before
He goes into a crowd or something. He does.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. It says here, the movie changes the ending. In the book, Stebbins is the last person to fall before the end of the long walk. I don't know what that means because then he would be the winner. Garrity is only walking by this point because of the dark figure he sees in the distance, the sight of which terrifies Stebbins and causes him to die of fright.
Oh, he collapses. Yeah, he just collapses for no reason. Yeah.
Okay, so Stebbins dies because he's scared of the dark figure, and he collapses there. And it's suddenly an unexpected demise for Stebbins, who seemed unstoppable. So he was never sick in the book. Here he was sick. I like this version better because I don't like the dark figure. Because the dark figure implies something completely different, and it adds a different element. I could see it kind of working with like a psychological horror, but you'd have to change a lot more elements to make that work.
If you don't like it here, you're not going to like it in half a dozen other places that he threw this figure in for no fucking reason.
Apparently, it's in other ones.
Yeah.
All right. So, but the movie changes the end. The dark figure is removed. Instead, Stebbins is the second to the last person to die in the movie, eventually developing a fatal illness that took down Scram in the book and revealing his origins before others allowing himself.
What I do remember is that McVry's does break his promise and he does save Ray. And so that is an important part. So that may have happened before Stebbins dies. But like that is a big point where it's like he goes back and then he's like, no, I know I promised you I wasn't going to save you. But he does save him, and that's why it's such a big.
McVry's is meaner in the book. He's snarky and quick-witted, but he's kind of crueler in his verbal jabs, which I like the movie version of him, where he's just more. He's like, his childhood is so fucked up that he's like, I'm choosing to always see the light.
And he does fuck with some people. He does fuck with Olsen a good bit, yeah.
There's a little bit of hints in there. His scars are different. He reveals that he got the scar after becoming an orphan and dangerous man that left him for dead. In the book, it was revealed that the scar was from his girlfriend, Priscilla. And he claims he loved Priscilla, but McBride reveals their relationship turned sour when he tried to sexually assault her, prompting her to wound him with a letter opener, so he had a bad past. But the movie's version is far more sympathetic. Yeah. Vow to not help one another gets more people killed in the book. McBride is the winner of the long walk, but in the movie, in the movie, but in the book, it's different. It's Ray that just walks off. And then the Major dies in the movie, but not in the book. So the Major survives in the book. So that's why I'm like, I like the added thing with the Major. Because I think the added thing with the Major killing his father and all this other stuff is added in the movie, and I like that extra depth.
Yeah.
And then that's it. You know, that figure was gone. So I don't know. It's from reading what the book's ending was, I like the movie ending better, and I actually think it improves on the story. What do you think? You actually read the story.
I don't like the Dark Man at all. And so if it had just been one of those things where, you know, his...
So you think the movie's better than the book? Because it makes those...
Sort of. If we're considering the Dark Man, the ending, I like the idea of him just walking on and just saying, fuck with it. I'm not going to deal with this shit. Like, I'm completely leaving this whole thing, and it's not actually worth it, and it's not... Killing him does absolutely nothing, and I'm just going to go home to my mom.
You would prefer... Okay, McBride to just... wait a minute.
Or
I'm talking about the movie.
Yeah, where he just like, if he goes off and he just goes on and he's not going to do, he doesn't kill. I would prefer he doesn't kill him. But I don't like the idea of the Dark Man at all in this. So it's like I don't like I said, I don't really like either of them. So,
Jay, what did you want to happen?
Yeah. I don't know. It just, like you said, it left the door open, and I wanted the door shut.
Part of me wanted the cameras. Finality. Yeah, like long walk is over because the winner of the long walk says no more long walks, but they made a rule where the policies couldn't. Or it was something so horrific happened on the cameras, or they teased that the Major was actually, he was taking naps and sleeping and doing whatever he wanted in between, and he's like, that's not fair. Maybe they found that he was engaging in all reading books and philosophy and all the things that you aren't supposed to do, and they exposed it on the thing. I wanted to kind of go bigger and kind of involve the world, but that's that need of these constant, these huge epic things, and this isn't about that. This was about, a smaller thing. And so within those confines, I think they did about as well as they could have. And I do like the movie ending better than the book ending.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, that's about it. Go check that out if you like these types of films, or you probably already if you're in our spoiler section. So tell us what you think, what you would prefer, how it would have ended, and what you think versus the book. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.